Hey guys, Paul with Weapons of the World, stepping in for 29 Marine again today. Today we're going to be talking about the Lewis machine gun. Some basic information about the Lewis machine gun. Its country of origin is Great Britain. Caliber is .303 British. Total length is 38 inches with a overall weight of 26 pounds. Its magazine capacity is 47 or 97 rounds out of this drum magazine. It's air-cooled and piston operated. Has a cyclic rate of about 550 rounds per minute and an effective range of about 800 to 1,000 yards. So, the Lewis gun was designed by a man named Samuel McLean. However, a U.S. Army colonel named uh, Isaac Lewis took the design and improved it, and so it was named after the colonel. What he did was, after improving the overall design of the Lewis machine gun, he took it to the U.S. Army in an attempt to get it adopted as the U.S. Army standard machine gun. However, the U.S. Army had no real interest in the Lewis machine gun, so they just didn't want it, which would come at a very big shock later. When the U.S. entered World War I, they were, instead of carrying the Lewis machine gun, stuck with the French Shosho, which, in all honesty, is one of the worst guns ever designed. Definitely one of the worst machine guns ever designed. While on the other hand, the Lewis machine gun is an extremely well thought out, extremely reliable, and simple design, but I'll get into that more later. So, after Mr. Lewis took the design to Europe, it was adopted by the Belgian Army in 1913 and was later adopted by the British in 1914, where it was produced under licensing uh, in England. So, this big shroud around the barrel is a pretty interesting device. What it does is it aids in uh, the air cooling process. Let me see if I can't get this out of the way. If I can hide the shroud. So what happens is when the gun is fired, you see all these fins along the length of the barrel. So what happens is when the gun is fired, the muzzle blast kind of creates a suction in which cool air is sucked in and over these fins in an attempt to aid the cooling of the barrel. However, after some testing and actual research, they kind of figured out that this shroud really didn't work all that well. Uh, I think it would have been probably better if they just left the shroud off completely, but then you would have really nowhere to grab the gun if it was hot. So they kept the shroud on. Get all those parts back. So like I said, it was piston operated. Let me try and get all these parts out of the way and show you the actual mechanism for firing. So you can see the bolt right here has this ratchet kind of system where there's this gear system right here. And so what happens is, let me put it on slow motion, you fire the gun, which pulls the sear down, allowing the bolt to go forward. Gun is fired, piston moves the bolt back, and the whole bolt rides on this one gear right here. Uh, it's kind of an interesting design. I can't really think of any other gun that uses a gear system like this. Uh, there might be one or two out there, but overall, this is kind of the only gun that I personally know of that uses this gear and ratchet system. The overall quality of the Lewis gun was absolutely fantastic. It was a very high quality gun while being easy to produce and also cheap. Uh, so that way it was able to be manufactured effectively and quickly for wartime production, like in World War I and World War II. It was used in both wars. It was mostly a crew-served weapon of 2 or 3 people. Theoretically, you could do everything with one person, However, it was, again, generally a crew-served weapon. So we have this kind of interesting magazine right up here. Let me get this. And what happens is, when the gun's fired, get this off slow-mo, you can see that, try and get a good, here we go. There's a whole coiled spring in this magazine, oops, and when the gun is fired, it has this little slanted camming system that goes down, and it feeds into the gun. Now, unlike the, say, DP-27, where this also uses a drum-style magazine, the Lewis magazine was extremely reliable, and they really never had any problems with it. The reason that the Lewis machine gun had a drum-style magazine is because of the kind of weird 303 British round. It had a very prominent rim, so you couldn't really feed it from a traditional magazine. Final thoughts on the Lewis machine gun. It was an extremely well put together, well thought out, and well designed machine gun, and that is shown because it was used throughout World War I and II. I wish the American Army had decided to adopt the Lewis machine gun. It probably could have saved some lives, but instead they were using the French Shosho, which again is probably one of the worst machine guns ever made. So I kind of wish they had done that, but you can't really change history, so I digress. Lewis machine gun, absolutely fantastic gun. They're kind of hard to find now, and if you do find them, they're extremely expensive, in the tens of thousands of dollar range. But overall, great machine gun. Really nothing to complain about it. Cheap and easy to produce. Again, well thought out. And at this point, I'm just kind of rambling on, aren't I? So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye.